You are now tuning in to the Evolution Daily Podcast. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Evolution Daily Podcast. I am here with a guy who is a fan of the podcast. He told me before we started recording he listens to it while he sleeps, so that way he retains a lot of the information via osmosis. I was truly humbled when he told me that. No, guys, we're here with James King Baskin. James is an entrepreneur. You're currently down in Colombia. You've been killing it. We've been in contact. We met once in person, which was dope, and we keep in contact online pretty often. So thanks for being on the show today, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So you, so your company is Outsource Kings, correct?
Yep.
And what do you guys do?
Yeah, so what we specialize is we are an appointment setting agency for multiple industries, everything from coaching programs to roofing contractors that get leads. They're running Facebook ads. They don't have time to call their leads. And what we do is we fill that gap. So we call the leads for our clients. We schedule it on their calendar. And then our clients don't have to call any leads anymore. They don't have to worry about, did I follow up with this person? And so we take away that follow-up for them.
It's the worst. I need that service, bro. It's the worst. I hate tracking and thinking about, like, the way we do it. We have a spreadsheet, and it's like, I look at the spreadsheet and I'm like, wait, that dude 2 months ago told us he's straight up down for another boot camp and hit him up soon. And then we just kind of forgot about him. I mean, I'm probably going to hire you now that I've even heard that you do a lot of the follow-up work, because I'm terrible at that.
Yep. Yeah. And even for, we were doing like some organic stuff for a while. So we're doing the phone calls. We stick to one thing, and that's phone calls. And I also have a coaching program where we teach people how to do this in their own service. And literally one of the first things I do with people is I tell them, I'm like, you have sales already that you're missing. Go in your inbox and look in your inbox. And I did this myself. I literally had laydowns where people were like, send me a payment link. And I hadn't read it for 3 months. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, yeah. I need a sale right now. I'm like, this is like a couple years ago. I'm like, I need sales. And I'm going through my messages and I'm like, this guy literally is asking for a payment link 3 months ago. And that's like the first thing I have like people I coach do is go in their inbox and look at unread messages. And most people have like tons of messages they can fill their calendar with.
Do you prefer, would you say that you, and I don't know if you've ever done any B2C, business to customer, for everybody listening that doesn't know, and B2B is business to business. What do you think is an easier sell, B2B or B2C?
I think it all goes back to their intention when they fill out the ad. So if someone has a leaky roof, this would be business to consumer, and they're filling out the ad, there's a huge level of interest. And they're dealing with a problem that needs to be fixed. So that's why I like contractor stuff. Same thing with medical. We also manage gyms as well. And I think B2C is easier. B2B is more of a value build and why this service is going to help my business and who are you? I think the first part's first. Who are you and how can this help me? Versus I needed this immediate fix. Like our gyms, for instance, people are overweight. They fill out the thing that they want to go to this gym. We call them up. We schedule them for this gym in South Carolina. And then it's like, boom, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. It's about interest level. It's about need, and how are you helping fill that need for a consumer. Dude, I'm an easy sell when it comes to B2B. Like, same. Dude, people sell the fuck out of me on B2B stuff. And I get jealous of it because I feel like it's such an easy sell. Even what you just said a minute ago when you were like, the first thing I tell people is how much money they're already missing out on by missing out on all these different clients and the follow-up and the sales. Because even when you said that, immediately I was like, oh, I literally had a guy 2 boot camps ago who hit me up on Instagram and was like, bro, I've emailed you twice. I want to get on this boot camp. But meanwhile, I was just out like on dates and I need assistance. I need help in this area. So I love that idea of like the ROI, right? The ROI sell there. I think it's great. How long have you been full time? Because we real quick, I just want to tell you, a lot of guys that listen to this show, they either are really early on entrepreneurs, some advanced level guys, but most of the guys listening to this show want to be an entrepreneur. And so I really want to get into your head about these mindsets, because you've always, every conversation we've had, man, you've dropped bombs. When we were in Vegas eating pancakes together at that diner. So how long have you been full time?
So I've been full time now for 2 years, but I kind of want to give a backstory just because you like really like toned in on your audience and anyone
Yeah.
that's listening. I started off when I was working a job for myself. I was kind of like faking it entrepreneur probably about 3+ years ago, doing something I didn't like. And I used to watch Aaron's content on Evolution Daily, and I used to watch the infields. I used to watch all this stuff, and total like disasters with Tinder, disasters with going out with dates. And I used to watch Aaron's stuff on YouTube way back when. I'm trying to think of the name of the program, and I can't think of the name of the program. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
so I
just
used to
keep
watch
rolling.
Aaron's content probably about 3+ years ago is when I discovered you. Um, don't really know where it came from per se, but searched out some stuff on YouTube. And so anyone that's listening, I have lived the journey. I want to give a testament to Aaron's stuff. I mean, I used to watch this guy's stuff and his Facebook lives, and I still think he has one of the greatest pickup lines of all time, and that is going up to someone and say, "Do you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast?" It's the greatest line of all time, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like this is before Joe Rogan blew up, by the way. Like 3+ years ago, if you're listening to Joe Rogan, like you weren't like a fanboy. You were like ahead of the time, so to speak. And so I used to watch Aaron's stuff, and I was trying to make it as an entrepreneur. I think I even messaged you to go to an event in Puerto Rico, 2+ years ago also. And so I've been full time now for 2 years on my own. Hit six figures for the first time in my life last year. That was a huge fucking accomplishment because that was like first it was like, can I make $10,000 in a month? And I had done that prior in my like about 3+ years ago. And then it was like, can I make six figures in a year? And I did well beyond that. And I was like, holy shit, this is actually possible.
Yeah, it's and I think and so for you, did you start because there's this beautiful idea and fantasy of the burning the boats, quit your job, cut off your family, move to fucking wherever and see if you can survive, right? And Robert Kiyosaki actually attacks that idea in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's like, no, keep your job, start a business slowly, see if you can get close to replacing the income of your job, and then quit the job, right? And that doesn't sound cool though to some 20-year-old kid who's all hyped up. So, did you start generating revenue while you were still working at your previous job?
Yeah, so my previous job actually still was entrepreneurship, and I was an insurance agent, and I had been in debt from all kinds of stuff. In the insurance industry, they advance you commission, and then if someone cancels, you owe the commission. Dude, it's like a quick way to get in debt. And
Mm.
so I'd been in about $10,000 debt, worked my way out of that hole by taking the money, what they call as earned. And once I had about, I think it was like a couple $1,000s a month as earned coming in, which was fucking straight grinding to make that happen. I was also in college, and a big epiphany moment for me was I was at a crossroad, multiple crossroads, which I'm sure some people listening might be at a crossroad also. I was in school. I had a teacher telling me if I didn't, I think it was statistics. It was statistics class, elementary statistics, and the teacher saying he like was bragging about how much money he made, which wasn't a lot. It was like 40 grand, and I'm like, I'm making more than that selling insurance right now, and I'm in this guy's class, and he's telling me if I don't understand elementary statistics, you won't make it in life, kind of attitude. And then I also was selling insurance, something I wasn't really like 100% set in. And I also was learning about like Facebook ads and like being a marketer. And I kind of wanted to do all three, but I knew I had to really focus on one. People always tell you focus on one thing, one thing, one thing. And like, so I gave up school, so to speak, to focus on my insurance and being a marketer. And I was like, I can't do both of these. And, and once I had the income to a certain point with insurance, I was like, fuck it, I'm going all in with Outsource Kings, my service. And the first year was fucking hard, dude. Like I had money coming in. I remember like my as earned money, like after the 12th month, it goes away. So my income was going down like every other month. And then my other income, I'd get a client. You probably can relate to this, or some people listening can as well. Early on, you'll get a client, you lose a client, you get two clients, you lose two clients. And I was like, dude, how the fuck am I going to build a business like this? And but I had to do it. I had to learn. I had to, you know, go through the trials and pains of all that crap.
There's no consistency at the beginning, and
Uh,
that's what businesses really struggle with is creating consistency. We did a we did an entrepreneurship mastermind call last night where we really, a lot of guys on this, they're listening to this podcast right now, they hear me talk about the mastermind all the time. If you guys aren't joining, you're a fool. James, you actually were on the mastermind early days of it. We had you on a call, it was awesome. But I was talking about something very similar to what you're talking about. And I say it's like with business, you have to play it the same way you play Halo. And what I mean by that is it's like checkpoint one, checkpoint two, checkpoint three, checkpoint four. Like you have to hit these checkpoints. And I think what happens is a lot of people early on, not even early on, before they begin, they get overwhelmed by looking at the whole campaign. They look at everything that it requires to run a business, and they don't believe in themselves, so they never start. And it's like, bro, if you have a name, learn how to buy a domain on GoDaddy. Learn how to get it hosted. Learn about WordPress. Start slowly hitting these checkpoints, building it up until you have something where you go, oh, hey, I can actually make this work. And so when you started the business, I mean, where did even why this? Because you're a smart guy. You probably have a bunch of different skills and ideas and things. What made you decide to go all in on this, or was there anything else that you almost committed harder to, or anything?
yeah. So my company, the hat on right now. Shout out to my company, Outsource Kings. We outsource, and my team is overseas in the Philippines, and I'm in Colombia. I've had employees here down here in Colombia, and when COVID hit, I shut all that down, get ready to start it over again. And so I get that question. People ask me, why are you in Colombia? Why are you hiring people in the Philippines? Why phone calls? And early on, it I didn't have even a know of what I wanted to do. We were doing anything and everything for revenue. It was like people were like, "Can you make a video for me?" And then I know you messaged me some stuff, and I was like, hey man, unfortunately it's not what we do. And it's cool. It's like I can honor my word with integrity and tell people, hey man, that's just not what we do. And it's no harm no foul, rather than being like, what do they call it, like wishy-washy, being like, oh, I think we can do that for you. And that was like me in the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, we can do that. And then people be like, you're gonna set up all my Infusionsoft stuff for $1,000? And I'm like, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, not making any money, going crazy. And I went toward the outsourcing stuff because I had already done it for my insurance business. That's where it all got started. I did it in-house for my insurance business. And then people started paying me to teach them. And how it is in our world and the online marketing world. It's almost like everyone's copying each other. And
Hmm.
I don't want to, sit here and act like, I'm real and they're fake. I hate that kind of like attitude. But what I noticed was like everyone would like copy the same ads. They buy a course. They're like, I'm a marketer. And then they all start running the same ads that everyone else is running. And I'm like, there's no fulfillment for me in that. And so, um, I started doing little things. We started a charity in the Philippines that we do Christmas time, and then we have other things that I do. But I'm not really going to talk on that per se. But it was like I want something that I actually can bring value, and it's different. It's not like everyone's running Facebook ads, or I'm a copywriter,
You're not,
and
yeah. I was just gonna say teaching copy. Everybody these days,
yeah,
they stumble upon a Dan Kennedy course or even a Mitch Miller or something, and now they're a copywriter. Yeah.
yeah. The first thing they do is they start posting polarizing. There's so many copywriters that I remember when these guys were like posting pictures of their girlfriends and their mom, and then all of a sudden like now they're a copywriter. and like the first thing they're doing is like posting like hardcore politics stuff and their opinion, and like super polarizing, and it's like, oh, okay, but like to me it's like that's just not who I am, you know.
And you know what, man? Honestly, I want to say this too. I'm bored of polarizing content. I'm bored of it. Don't you feel like throughout the Trump era, we went through 4 years of not only Trump being polarizing, but also everybody online being the most polarizing we've ever been? And like just everybody, right? Like this really hot take, hot take, hot take, controversial, no trans people, like hot take, controversial. And I'm bored of it now. Something I would have seen 3 years ago where I'd be like, whoa, I can't believe you said that online. I'm like, oh, but everybody is saying this now too. I'm bored of it.
Yeah, it's so weird, and I don't want to use like the phrase like keyboard warriors, but it's almost like these people are like uh copywriter warriors online, and then you meet them in person and they're 100% not like they are online. They're quiet as hell. They like, and you're like, wait, you were just posting like crazy shock value content, and then all of a sudden like you meet them in person and they're like boring as fuck. And
Yep.
this is weird, you know, and that's what I think is part of why you're saying that, because you've met some of these people, and then it's like it's almost like it's all an act online, especially now with COVID. You know what I mean? No one, you don't have to see anyone, so you can just put on a whole front of this is who I am, and yeah, I mean it got old for me when I knew the people, and then they just started talking like it would make sense if it was a gradual progression to that. But some people would be like, they took a copywriter course, the next day they've got like a strong opinion against XYZ, or like all of a sudden like Trump's like their background cover photo, and they're like, vote red or die. And it's like, what
Yeah.
happened? Like,
Q, trust the plan. Yeah. Dude, I
yeah,
was I was at I was at the bar with you yesterday. You're really quiet and just kind of ate peanuts and sipped on a scotch.
yeah, yeah,
Now you're storming the Capitol.
yeah, literally, yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. I'm bored. I'm bored of the polarizing content. And you know what, man? Here's what I'll say too: is for anybody that wants to come out and start a brand, okay? I even though we're shitting on it, come out swinging, okay? Come out swinging. Come out like, yo, I'm the shit. This is why I'm the shit. This is why I can teach you. This is why I can help you. This is the service I provide. Come out swinging. But the ultimate power in in any brand, in my opinion, is staying power over time, because I'll never forget this, and this is very petty of me to remember so clearly, but I started Evolution Daily very early on. I mean, like less than 1,000 subs, like just whatever. I did a little meetup in New York, and there was this like Russian or Ukrainian kid there, and he's like, "Bro, let me like ask you something," and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you really think like you think you're gonna be like, you're gonna do like a pickup coach thing?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "There's already like so many, like everybody's a coach, everybody thinks that they're a coach, whatever." And I'm like, well, I'm better than them." And he's like, "Yeah, but everybody say that, whatever." And whatever. At the time, it really triggered me. And at that time, I was like, this motherfucker. And I knew that I was different than a lot of these guys. I knew one, like my game was fucking phenomenal. I know that I have a very great way of communicating. I know that I have a great presence on camera and video. Like I knew I had everything that it took. But ultimately, when I started out, I was just, oh, another pickup coach, another guy. And then all of a sudden, 6 months goes by, and there's been 6 months of videos and concepts and posts. And now it's like, oh, that guy's been around for 6 months. And now it's like 2 years in. I mean, currently I'm like 5 to 6 years in, but it's like now you're 2 years in, and it's like, oh, this is just Aaron Alexander. This is the guy that's been around for a long time. So you guys are also, there's that age old adage about, digging for gold and stopping just a foot before you hit the gold. I think that everybody's doing that with a brand.
Yeah, I definitely I have something on that that just happened recently. So when I first started, all I was doing was promoting my brand hardcore instead of focusing on my service. And I would tell anyone, focus on your service first, and you be the brand before you like go ahead and launch something like Outsource Kings. It was like I launched Outsource Kings and we weren't making any money, and it was like I was running around doing all this crazy stuff, trying to focus on the brand. And I want to quote something that I quoted on my Facebook. This just happened recently, and there's a rapper. His name's Nipsey Hussle, and he said, "I paid all of my games. I paid all of my dues. I just respected the game." And literally, that is my story for how I got started, of paying my dues for 3 years straight. Like, shit happened. I probably complained. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say like I didn't complain. Shit happened, but I just kept going. And this guy, he also is in my industry. His name is Jeff Hunter. He's like, to me, like he was like the godfather of outsourcing. Like this dude's got like, you know, offices in the Philippines, like big shit. And someone compared me to him like 2 years ago, 3 years ago almost, and I was like, whoa, that was like the first compliment, and that was it. And then for 2 years straight, I never heard anything else about it again. And then in the summertime, I got a podcast. I got a message from someone, and they said, "Hey, Jeff Hunter was talking about you, and we want to have you on our podcast." And I was like, "Huh." And so next thing I'm on this podcast with this girl, and it's about outsourcing. And then recently around Black Friday, I talked with Jeff about some stuff. We, had an offer, and we talked on the call, and he sent me a hat, and he sent me this hat, and it says basically, "I pass the crown off to you," which was like a fucking Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant moment to me, 100%. It'd be like the Godfather passing on down the thing to the next guy to be the primary guy, and that was like a huge fucking moment for me, because sometimes you're going to be putting in the work and you're going to be met with adversity. I was met with adversity a lot. People are like, I still get people that are like, "What do you do?" I have no clue who you are and what you do. And I can choose to react to it, or I can be like, "Hey, here's what we do." And that's how I choose. But yeah, man, 3 years ago, I was like me running around with a cape and a crown and I got all the attention. That's the funny thing. I got tons of attention and no sales. And and I see people do that too often, as they focus on like getting all the attention versus having an actual product or a service or improving that service. But I can tell you, and look at Aaron right now, when he's talking about like less than 1,000 subs, and it's like, you just fucking keep on going.
I have been killing it with online game. I've been going on basically a new date every single night. But more importantly, my students have been killing it with online game as well, dominating on Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, all of these platforms. How have they done it? How have I been doing it? With Online Game Decoded. This was formerly known as PST. We decided to clean up the image a little bit. So if you already got PST, you got OGD. And if you don't have Online Game Decoded yet, you need to sign up. A lot of information out there is just kind of telling you what you should do online. What we've done is we've taken it a whole nother step further. Inside Online Game Decoded, you're going to receive over 30 online game breakdowns showing unique openers. So many of you guys send awful openers. I even hear this from girls. Guys are terrible at opening. It's going to give you unique openers. It's going to show you how to stack your conversations in a way where you're always moving towards a final destination, because guys are just rambling on and on. You get a little friend, just having a little conversation. You got to move to the end finish line. Our conversations show you how to do that, ultimately how to close. Again, you're getting over 30 breakdowns, as well as 6 modules, including a module on how to craft the perfect profile. Many of you are putting out a billboard for an offer that nobody wants to buy. Online game profiles are your billboard. This is your offer. What are you putting out to the world? And so many of you are getting it wrong. You're spending hours a day and getting no results. Online Game Decoded is going to get you those results. Head over to onlinegamedecoded.com. The link will be down below wherever you're listening to this. Now enjoy the rest of the episode.
That's it.
Yeah, and I actually was even listening to, I've heard and listened to everything by Grant Cardone now at this point, but every once in a while when I need to get into that, actually not even every once in a while, pretty much every day I still listen to Grant Cardone. Today I decided to turn on a chapter of his audiobook, Be Obsessed or Be Average, and that was one of the things that he was really harping on and ranting about. Was he was like, just keep going. Failure is only when you quit. Keep going. And I've had some down times. I've had some dark times, both personally and financially in the business over the years, but I just kept going. And now, light at the end of the tunnel, like I'm good. I hope to stay good, and I hope to keep growing and getting even better. but I think that people don't award themselves that opportunity. I think that they don't award themselves that opportunity. They come out swinging. They thought it was going to be easy. And the reason why, and you and I are in the online marketing space, we probably could name all the gurus. We probably I have tons of mutual friends also in any sort of online marketing, digital space. And the reason why everybody's in the digital space is because all you really have to have is an iPhone. Facebook's free, YouTube's free, all these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, everything is free. And if you have a phone, you're an influencer now. You're a coach. You're a whatever, right? You're a copywriter as long as you can type. So it's a very low barrier to entry, and so everybody kind of comes in, but nobody sticks around long enough. They really don't to establish themselves in the industry. And for me personally, I was going through a phase maybe like 6 months ago where I was getting really mad that my channel hasn't blown up, like that I don't get like thousands and thousands of views and all this stuff. And I was talking to one of my business coaches. I have like three different guys that I work with like on different programs regularly. And I was talking to him, and he's like, dude, he's like, your sales are fucking great. He's like, you're like, what? Like your sales are great. And I'm like, but like, I want the channel to like blow up. Imagine if I got 10x more views and I'd get 10x more sales. He's like, look. He's like, that might be true, but he's like, let's keep focusing on the back end, that like, focusing on the sales and the systems and all of that. And then later we can run all of your fucking profits and money into blowing up the brand. Right. And so what I'm getting at with that is that he made me see, oh, you know what? Maybe this video I put out is only going to get 400 views. And to me, I'm like, oh, I deserve 100,000 on this video. It's so good. But you know what? That's 400 dudes sitting at their goddamn computer or looking at their phone, paying attention to me. So stop worrying about the 100,000 people that aren't paying attention to me. Stop focusing on them and focus on these 400 guys that tuned in for your goddamn vid and give them value. Focus on them. Have gratitude for them. And so the reason why I even kind of go on this rant is because many of you listening, if you start anything, just like me, just like James, it's going to be really hard at the beginning, and you're going to get frustrated and you're going to get annoyed. But everybody that succeeds at anything, fitness, business, pickup, game, life in general, they stick to something for a long period of time in order to get good at it. And when you do that, that's where the money is. That's where the gold's at. Bro, you are getting jacked right now. Let's talk about that. I
Let's do it.
wanted to, before talking about you getting jacked, I want to talk about, if you don't mind, I want to talk about sobriety because I've had an interesting run with sobriety, and you have as well. So, what I would like for you to start with is first off, how long you've been totally sober, and then tell us a bit about what life was like, why you got sober, that transition, and what your life was like. Go ahead, man. That's because it's a motivational story.
Yeah. So my sobriety date is June 18th, 2008. So just over 12 years. And that when I say sobriety, I'm talking no wine, no nothing, no marijuana, nothing, no hallucinogenics, like 100% sober. And life before, it's interesting. I compare my life before to where the people was friends at the time and what they're doing, and that's a good indicator because I was right there doing the same thing with them. And all my past friends, I should say, from my non-sober life are either dead, in prison, or convicted felons. And and life was hectic. I got kicked out. I got kicked out on my 20th birthday, and I got sober a few days after that, and I had nowhere to live, and I had no options. I had no money. I remember my mom. This is like really like a low. My mom giving me money on my birthday, kicking me out, me stealing from her, and buying weed and alcohol. And I'm like, and then I was like, after that ran out, I didn't have anything, and I was like staying on friends' couches. All those people, like, I got you, bro. Whatever you need, like. I forget all the shit that we used to say one time, all this bullshit that we'd say to each other, like, I got your back, don't worry, and like, I'll always take care of you. And I got kicked out from friend's house to friend's house, and I had nowhere to go. And prior to that, that was my daily existence. I would smoke weed all day, I drink, I do other drugs. Um, I've had some crazy run-ins with the law. I got detained at the border. That was a whole entire thing that ended up
Oh shit.
coming up later in my life. My mom crying, the Mexican authorities, U.S. Border Patrol, letting me go, whole shit show, and and it was just like the best definition I've ever heard. My buddy said one time is that I was a piece of glass, a broken glass. Come too close to me, I'll cut you, and you could see right through me. And that was it. I didn't have any goals, no motivation, um, and I just existed. And like I said, I got sober at 20 years old. I've never had a legal drink, so I never like went and showed my ID and like did that. But I had enough drinks that it was like, does that really even matter? You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so that's pretty much like my story in a nutshell, real brief.
So while you were getting fucked up all the time and getting detained at the border and all of that, did you have anything in your head where you were like, I might do this one day. Maybe my life will go this direction. I want to be a pilot. Was there anything where you saw a future for yourself, or was it just day by day, I'm getting fucked up and partying? What was the mind at that time?
Yeah. So one of the cooler moments, and unfortunately, I'll never be able to find this guy. I couldn't even tell you this guy's last name. He was a classmate of mine, and he was older. And so this is, I think, the first like mentor that I had. I would say that was someone doing something that I wanted to do, and this guy was uh, selling stuff on Amazon back in the day. This is like I'm going back like 15 years now almost. And he was selling books on Amazon that he would buy at yard sales and he'd flip them. And he was making loot. And I remember this guy talking to me and he was like, dude, you just party nonstop. And this guy had tried to get me into fitness. He was jacked, like kind of fit in your audience right here. This dude was a 100% a fucking Chad, 100% a Chad with a fucking huge heart, dude. Because I was fat, loser, smoking weed, doing drugs in class, showing up drunk, and this guy was like, dude, this is what I'm doing in business. You should get into this. And I was like, oh, I want to do that, but my inabilities, my drug addiction and alcoholism was like, yeah, you're not going to do that. And so that was the first thing. And I had I had some achievements in my life already. I was a Eagle Scout. I was in the Boy Scouts. I had achieved the highest rank in the Boy Scouts. I had done good for the community. And then here I am, and I'm like stealing from people. But yeah, that was like the only thing. And it was like, I'm going to do this. And it was like no action behind my word whatsoever.
Yeah, and I just want to say something to this point as well about with like the stealing and the doing like fucked up shit, right? I think that as men and maybe women as well, probably, but I think just all I can really speak on is the male perspective, I guess. I think we have a very hard time forgiving ourselves.
Mm.
And I think that like for anybody listening right now, I'm sure you've done like have you ever done any kind of like therapy or psychology, like anything like that?
Tons.
Yeah, yeah, you've done lots of that. So I think that a lot of us have a very hard time forgiving ourselves, and it's like you have to recognize that at any given moment you were kind of doing the best that you could at that time. For you at that time, you weren't who you are right now. Like we're always evolving. Aubrey Marcus has this great quote. He took it from it's like ancient Peruvian or Aztec or something like that, but the quote is he says, "No man steps in the same river twice, for he is not the same man, and it is not the same river." And the idea there is just that everything is constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. So also just to anybody listening, it's like because I've had to deal with this as well, where I would just cringe thinking about some shit I did when I was 21 or 22 or something. And so I had to, I've had to work on this myself, which was just learning to forgive myself for being who I was at various times in my life. And so anybody listening where you have those moments, recognize that you did the best you could at that time. And I think it's really powerful. Now, for you, getting sober, was this like crazy hard? Was there a rehab? Was it what was that like?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it was so easy. It was the easiest thing I did in my life. It was probably the hardest thing I ever did in my life. And still to this day, I think it was one of the hardest things I did. I'm not a first time winner. I tried to get sober before, I relapsed, and that was when I ended up homeless. I actually had a police escort my first time to rehab. It's a crazy story. I woke up to the cops in my house. My parents had called them, and the police were like, "Here's the ultimatum." And the police were helping out my parents, and I guess they just haven't have anything else better to do. I guess to take some fucking kid to rehab. And I was 19 at the time, and this is the first time I got sober. And I want to kind of like set the stage for when I got sober this last time. And so they were like, either you leave now, and basically be homeless, or you go to rehab. And so my options were like, all right, let's go to rehab. And so I stayed sober for a little bit. And this last time I got sober, it wasn't easy. It was like I went into rehab with a huge ego. Uh, I ended up in a prison reentry program. Still to this day, when I think about how crazy that was, it was like my insurance only funded me for a certain amount of days in rehab. I think it was exactly 28 days. And I was supposed to go to what they call a halfway house, which is where you live with a bunch of other people, sometimes co-ed. Mine was co-ed. And, and it was a state-run facility. However, the bed wasn't open and my insurance ran out. And it was like, where do we send this person? Because his insurance isn't paying us. We're not going to cover it. So we need to send him somewhere. And so they sent me, I'm from Pennsylvania, a suburb right outside of Philadelphia. And so they had sent me way up north Pennsylvania to where the Little League World Series is played. And they sent me to a prison reentry program. So everyone I was in there with was getting ready to go to prison. They were getting sober first and then going to prison, like prison. And here I am, and I'm like, it's still, when I think about it, it really dawns on me. But like I was so like in a fog when I was early sober that I was just like, all right, I had nowhere to fucking go. Like I like lived for like my family or friends to bring me like Newport 100s. I was like, cool, I won, and
Oh,
like that
dude.
was like,
you
you
were
got to
you
go to
were
Newport.
kind of like you were kind of the dork of this place because you're talking to all these guys and they're like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna go in for about 30 years. I'm going in for 10. You're like, I guess I'm just probably gonna go to like the
Oh,
speedway up the street. I don't know where I'm going. Like,
so we couldn't leave I remember this place has now been shut down, and I think many people were involved in the lawsuit, all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but I remember when I got there, this guy was like, if you walk off the porch, you're out. And I was like, oh. He's like, if you have problems doing your chores, you're out. And I was like, okay. And so we used to have to walk single file to our classes, and we weren't allowed to have caffeine. Totally forgot about that. We weren't allowed to have any coffee. And
oh
oh, dude,
fuck that.
it was,
I'm out, dude.
it was brutal. It was brutal, man. And I'll never forget. This is a fucking funny ass moment. And this guy, I couldn't even tell you who it was. I couldn't even point him out if you showed me him today. And he was getting ready to go back to prison. And they used to put everyone in a car when they'd take him. They obviously put him in the car, but they would pick up people. And sometimes they'd pick up a girl and a guy. And this guy's like, yo, me and so, we're both going to prison same day. He's like, I'm going to fuck her in the back. What are they going to do? Send me to prison? And I was just fucking funny as shit. I was like, dude, I was starting fucking laughing.
Dude, I lived the house I lived in for the last 4 years of my life. Our backyard was just an alleyway. It's like in the city. It's in Columbus, and then right behind us, we didn't know when we first moved in what was going on, but there was just like these. We called them the vagrants. There would just like a few times a day be 15 people standing outside in the alleyway smoking a cig, and they'd go back in. Well, eventually, when we'd take the trash out, we started talking to these people, and it was everything you just described, minus the going to prison part. It was
Yeah.
a halfway house. There was a big van. They would take them to go do some activity somewhere. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, I don't know about the caffeine or anything, but they were chain smoking out there. You'd see guys trying to puff down one so they could fit in another one before they go back in. And but they seemed to have good spirits. I feel like they were treated well. What's going on, man? I know that you're enjoying this episode of the Evolution Daily podcast. I would like to personally invite you into the Evolution Daily Secret Mastermind. Now, this is my inner circle. This is our tribe. This is our squad. What you get when you sign up for the Evolution Daily Mastermind today is you get access to our weekly group coaching call. I am present on all of these calls. You get your questions answered. I give a sermon. Other guys on this call are dishing out amazing advice. And what we've created here is a community that so many men need. You right now, you're into game. You want to start a business. You want to get jacked, but you're not surrounded by people that are helping you along that journey. Come get help on that journey. We have the most active and incredible secret Facebook group on the entire internet. There are guys in this group. The guys that have flocked to the mastermind are guys that are out taking action. They're winning at life. They post exclusive content. I post exclusive content daily. There is so much for you here in the secret mastermind. Click down below and you'll be able to find out more details, and you can sign up. We offer a monthly program, and then we offer a one-time lifetime membership to the mastermind.
And kind of like going along with this podcast and, men's self-development, I think, halfway house experience, just, subtract the prison part, but like, we had to do things that, created moral character. And I'd love to tell you that, I do my dishes right as soon as they're done. I'm not going to bullshit you guys in that kind of aspect, but, we had to do things like, make our bed every single morning. I'm not here to talk about like simple things like that, but like it was like so many different things like that. It started off with making your bed. It started off with, cleaning the bathroom. It started off with cleaning the ashtrays. And then it like so many different things that we all had to do as a unit. We had to scrub floors, things like that. And a lot of halfway houses, that's very common. However, there's a ton of fucking fun stuff that will help with male positive relationships, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to say like there's like coaches in the halfway house, but there's like people that have been there longer that will show another man the way. And now that person might not even stay sober. And then people are like, dude, what the fuck happened to so and so? He like had it all together. Drugs and alcohol is a fucking hard, thing to deal with. And it still can be hard to me. The longer I have removed from it, can sometimes be, if I have an ego, the closer I am to it. And but when I was like really new, like that camaraderie, like I've seen crazy shit happen in halfway houses, guys tattooing each other. Now you've got a tattoo guy in the house. And, and it's just like crazy shit that you're like, dudes all getting with the same girl, like there's something really fucked up if multiple girls are hanging out at a halfway house versus like doing normal shit with their life. It's like, and that was like the fun. It was just fun, man. Like it was like a
Yeah.
frat house for like really fucked up people.
Dude, and man, I just went on a rant on my last podcast. I think it was a solo episode or one I did with Alpha Chad. And it's like, bro, even talking to you, all right, you're someone that's been through it. And I know a lot of guys that they're really into like self development and everything at a very young age. And this is good. If you're listening to this and you're 18, 19, I wouldn't tell you like, oh, go do drugs, go get wasted. But at the same time, bro, like I feel like our characters have been built through these horrific situations. I mean, you're talking about halfway houses, getting trapped in Mexico. I mean, crazy shit. And it's kind of given you now a perspective of, you learned a lot at those times. You learned a lot about survival. You learned a lot about, oh, this is not what I want. I don't want to be forced into these crazy situations. So it gave you so much learning, growth, upliftment, perspective. And I don't know, man. Some of these young kids they need to do some ecstasy and fucking run around the streets. I don't know. They need to do something. But you the halfway house, was this the second time and the final time you got sober?
Yeah. So the prison reentry program, from there, once my bed opened up and I went to Philadelphia, and it was the final time that I'd ever been in any kind of this program. So I went from a halfway house, and this is going to sound kind of funny, like to anyone that doesn't understand like halfway houses and recovery houses. And then I went to what they call a 3/4 house. It's like now we're doing fucking fractions. It's hilarious. And so I went to a 3/4 house. I had more privileges. I was on a phone blackout for 30 days and I didn't have a cell phone at all. So I was like, whatever. And then I used to have to sign out to go to meetings and look for work. Couldn't work for the first 30 days. And that was my initial like recovery journey. Like I did shit that like, if you told someone now, like if you told me to do now, I probably 100% would not probably, I would 100% say no. Be like, clean the ashtray, make coffee, clean the bathroom. Be like, fuck that. And that was the stuff I used to have to do, vacuum the floors. And, it was not easy shit. It was stuff that like your humility will be tested.
Yeah, yeah. So when you and I met in Vegas, I'm not gonna say that you were thick. I'm not gonna sit here and say that you were a large man by any means. But you and I have both had various, we've had our journeys with fitness,
Yeah.
and I see you now posting these videos of you down in Colombia. I mean, dude, there's this one you posted the other day. I forget because you post them like here and there. I forget exactly which one this was, what you were doing in the video, but I was like, holy shit, James is getting in shape, bro. So, what was that shift? I mean, and this is what I love, man, because this is what for me it was pickup. Pickup was the thing that first got me to now, oh, care about my weight. Now quit alcohol, then start a business. It's like you start mastering one thing and you upward spiral in life. For you, it sounds like the first big turning point was sobriety. And then
Mhm.
over time, it was like, all right, I'm getting really good at this job, but I think I could make money doing this. And then it was like business. Now I feel like you're really going all in on the fitness aspect of your life. And so what was there something that made you be like, all right, I'm done. I'm going all in on this because you told me before we recorded you're now investing a lot of money into yourself to be fit. So what's that been like?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the invested in my fitness, and also what it was like that led me to it. So it was two things. It was two major things that some of us, you either do one of these or you do both of these. And one of them was I would get tired when I go upstairs. Most of us at any given day are probably going to go up a flight of stairs, maybe one floor, maybe two floors, maybe you go up some eventually at some point, and I would get tired. And then the second thing that was really crazy in my life, and that was I got started like getting winded during sex. I couldn't have sex without like, like I would just get exhausted. Like it was like oh shit, this isn't good. I remember the first time that happened, and I was like, uh oh. And I think my journey with fitness wasn't like it instantly happened. It was like up and down, up and down, and I went to the doctor. I was kind of telling you before we started the recording. I went to the doctor, and this girl I was seeing a little bit at the time, she helped like translate it all and everything like that. And she's like, the doctor's telling you that you need to lose weight, that your health is in danger. And I was just like, very closed minded. I was like, whatever. And I got back to the U.S. And I remember like, so I'm always like, once a year physical type of person. That's just, who I am. And so I'm getting all my levels checked out and all this shit. And they're like, hey, your diabetes level is coming back. Like you're like borderline. And I was like, what the fuck? And like, I mean, I went hard. The truth of the matter is I went hard when it came out of Colombia. It was like ice cream, fried food, everything like you're not supposed to eat. I was eating every day. And and so I went to a doctor, and that doctor also told me you need to lose weight. And and I was like, so I started working out a little bit. I would go to the gym and I would work out at nighttime, and then I would eat whatever I want. And if you do that, you're gonna still get fat, and you'll wonder why you're going to the gym every day and you're still getting fat because your diet. And so I started to invest in my health probably about, I'd say about 9 months to a year ago. And I started, getting, pre-made meals, things like that were healthy. Hired my first trainer probably about 6 months ago. And, believe it or not, I actually gained weight still during that time period. And I don't know what it was. It was definitely an investment. It was over $100 a month. And last time I was down in Colombia was in December, and I'm in Colombia right now. And I was like, the guy I rent from, he would post these workout videos, and I was like, yo, I want to work out with a trainer. And so I hired this guy, and it's crazy, man. We're, I think, going into our 4th month now, coming up on March, and I've lost 20 pounds. Uh, I'm definitely down at least a belt size or two. These pants, like the biggest indicator, I feel like, is your waist. Like my weight, I mean, not that you can see me, but like I'm still 220. Like I
Okay.
still got, I still got a ways to go. I think it's closer to like losing 20 more pounds. Um, and you know, super polarizing guy that just posted his weight loss journey. That's literally like where I was at. Takashi 69 was just posting about how he lost a bunch of weight, and like he was like in a crazy mental spot, and same kind of thing. 4 to 6 months he took out focusing on his health, and kind of what we were talking about before. Whatever you focus on the most, you're going to get. So I'll spend 2 to 3 hours a day with my trainer in the gym, and that's probably overkill. I know it is. However, the amount of like fucking calories we're burning, people were like, "Oh, you're not going to gain muscle. Oh, you're not going to do this. Oh, all this stuff," and I'm like, "But you don't know how I'm feeling." And it's like I fucking feel like it's fucking brutal. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? How many more exercises do we have to do to work out shoulders? And now this guy wants me to go, incline on the treadmill for 30 minutes. I'm like, I can't hang out at the gym all day and stare at chicks. And I have a business to run. But yet 3 to 4 days a week, I do that. I block off my schedule. You can't even meet with me Monday, Wednesday, or Friday in the morning because I'm working out. And the journey has been once I like set my intention with it, invested money, like I think I was telling you, I spend between $200 to $300 a month just on either fitness coaches or gym membership. And most people might be like, why would you spend that much money? You can get a $15 Planet Fitness membership bullshit. And it's like, yeah, and they'll
You can
also
do it
feed,
yourself. You can do it
yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
they'll feed you pizza at the front door and tell you to keep coming back.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, bro. So right now you're at a spot in life where you need direction, you need guidance, you need coaching. I would like to tell you right now that I just reopened my 5-week mentorship program. Oftentimes, I will close it for long periods of time because I get so many students on there that it's not really scalable for me to keep it open. But right now, if you're listening to this, then the 5-week Evolution Daily one-on-one mentorship with me is available. We're going to be attacking all areas of your life. We're going to be helping you to get into great shape, how to go out and meet women. I'm going to be holding you accountable, making you do approaches every single week. We're going to have you facing your fears, breaking down traumas, going from a guy that is currently stuck and doesn't know where to go to now being on an incredible direction forward and upward. Again, this is a 5-week mentorship one-on-one with me. You're going to be doing 5 one-hour calls with me, and we're going to be skyrocketing your life to the next level. This is all available over at evolutiondaily.com. You can go ahead and just click the link down below, and you will be able to access the mentorship. Sign up soon because this is going to close again very, very soon. I look forward to working with you on the mentorship. Yeah, it's something that you got to block out time for. And I was watching this interview with Grant Cardone, and it was a small part of the interview, and it was him and his he has his business partner. I believe the guy's name Brandon something. This awesome dude who does a lot of deals with him and stuff. And and Grant was the guy. They're sitting there and they're buds. And the guy's like, "So you've been working out a lot, huh?" He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And Grant is just in great shape, man. I mean, it's Scientology. I would be willing to bet that he's on growth hormone. I've been doing extreme research into growth hormone, and I'm on a couple steroids and stuff. And so I'm really discovering growth hormone, and it's really a shocking compound. But anyway, he's sitting there in the interview, and he's like, dude, he's like, I don't want any fat. I don't want to look at fat. Don't even walk into the same room as me if you've got fat on your body. And it was funny. It was like ridiculous. But I'm like, bro, this is like a billionaire sitting here saying this. And I'm like, I think we all kind of feel the same way. Let's be done with fat. Like, let's fucking get it off our bodies, bro, because we are race cars. Your business, your fucking business, you're a race car, man. It's about speed. It's about leads. It's about growth. And you want to grow fast because it's a snowball effect. The faster you grow, the more you grow. And it's like, let's get this fat off of our bodies. And you said the thing a little bit ago about getting winded while you're having sex. That is the worst feeling ever. And I'm currently off of I'm chewing a little nicotine gum here and there, but you know, I've gone on and off of the vape here and there, and then I've gotten fat even while having Evolution Daily. I'm in great shape right now, but there's nothing worse than when you're having sex with an attractive female and you are like wanting it to be over because your quads are on fire and you're sweating onto her back and you're just like, it's a brutal feeling, man. And then when you get on point, when you lose the weight, you get in shape, and now you're having like athlete level sex, it's a game changer.
Yeah, we all think that we're gonna be young forever, and like I don't know when it hit me. Then at some point I was like, "Oh shit, this isn't working how it's supposed to. What fucking happened?" Like it was like before it was like I was overweight and no problems, and then I think this is something that's not talked about a lot. And with guys is like if you fucking do like enough damage over and over, eventually you're gonna pay for it. Like because so often we see movies where people are partying, smoking, banging hot chicks, and it's like you might have fun with that for a little bit, and at some point you're gonna be like, yo, my fucking dick doesn't work and I have no energy. And that's something that you like, they're not gonna make a movie about that. Who would watch that shit?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and at some point, you know, you're gonna pay the price for your actions. And you kind of touched on it. I have friends that are worth, you know, 8 figures and beyond. I have one friend, and I have other friends that are, you know, 6, 7 figure entrepreneurs, and almost all of them are in shape. I can't tell you many that are like really fat and they're like eating McDonald's and smoking cigs. And when I talk to them, almost all of them, I'm thinking mentally in my head, like even my buddy that's like 8 figure entrepreneur, like he literally walks the whole entire boardwalk over in Ocean City, New Jersey every morning. Like the whole boardwalk. I think it's like equivalent to like 18 miles. It's insane. It's like insane.
Wow.
Like him and this other guy, they'll do it because he's his business, like he's in retirement mode, and they'll walk the boardwalk, and it's like, you know, 4 or 5 hour process. Might be not 18 miles, but anyways, these guys are like in shape. They're always like doing like active stuff, golfing, uh, scuba diving, spearfishing. Like they're in the water, they're moving around, they're, you know, whatever they're doing. And you know, you look at successful people, like they're almost all in shape. You say Grant Cardone, I think of Richard Branson right away. And Richard Branson's like doing crazy fucking cardio shit as well.
Yeah, Richard Branson, he is easily one of my biggest inspirations. He has his first book is not available on Audible, so I read that one. I own it. The what's it called? It's not The Virgin Way, because The Virgin Way is on audiobook, but whatever. What I get from him the most, man, is I get his other book is called Screw It, Let's Do It. He has an idea. People tell him it's not a good idea. He goes for it anyways. It either fails or it succeeds, and he moves on to the next idea. He's just bang, 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 bang. Like he just moves, and he'll bankrupt. He'll like take all the cash flow out of a company that he could have just been like, oh, I'll just ride this out till I die. Takes all the cash flow from that company, risks it on some other shit. And he's such an inspiration, I think, even for people that aren't wanting to start a business. It's like he's just so inspirational. And something that's really changed my life, and I'll share it with you and with the audience as well, is I've realized that what these people all have in common, all of them, all of the top entrepreneurs, the guys that you talking to that go and walk the boardwalk every day, whatever, is they have extreme levels of focus. Focus. Are they all intelligent? Are they all these other things, resourceful, blah, blah, blah? Yes, but focus, because people that will come to you and they'll say, dude, I'm just so swamped. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time for all this. These people, the top entrepreneurs in the world, they are able to get done in 4 hours in a day what would have taken them in their younger days and what would have taken most other people 8 to 12 hours to 16 hours. They are able to focus. And I really believe and people are talking about it a little more because of the Social Dilemma documentary. Did you see that documentary? Yeah, so people are talking about it a little more, and I mean, I've made videos about this for years because I've known this, that these fucking phones are the detriment of us as men in a lot of ways, and I think the number one reason is the focus. Everyone I talk to, everyone I talk to, I get a coaching client, a guy in my mastermind. It even happened last night where he's like, "Bro, I procrastinate, I don't take action on anything, this and that." I was like, answer me right now. Don't even think about it. When you wake up, is the first thing you do is roll over and grab your phone and get on it? He's like, yeah, I check all my notifications. I get on Instagram. You immediately lose your focus from the second you wake up when you get on your phone right when you wake up. It is the real pandemic, is looking at your phone first thing in the morning. You lose your focus for the entire rest of the day, and now you don't have time to go to the gym. Now you don't have time to do anything because you have to spend 16 hours just to survive. And it's real bad news, man. Where do you think your focus is at? You think you got good focus?
It's once again, it's very similar to my fitness. I'm not going to sit here and say it's amazing. It's definitely something I'm constantly working on. I struggle with it, straight up. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best. I struggle with it, and you know, I've got mentors that tell me to delete Facebook and all the apps off my phone, and then that's something I go back and forth with. For me, one of the biggest things I've been working on lately has been my sleep. That is like my if I can get my sleep down, I truly believe everything else will just click because there's a direct correlation. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing 75 hard right now. On day 8. My like if I can complete 75 hard, I truly believe that on the other side of it, it will be a whole nother thing. I wear glasses just because all these glasses I wear are for literally for me when I'm on my phone or the computer screen so much. And
They're blue light blocking.
yeah, blue light
Yep.
blockers. And I have all these apps on my phone. I've invested a bunch of money and stuff. I have Aura Ring, and I still won't go to sleep on a reasonable hour. But your body will start to, tell you need to rest and things like that. For me, I would say check in on me in a couple months to see where I'm at. Right now, it's just the journey beginning of my focus again. I literally just like set my intentions probably a couple days ago, a week ago, of getting back focused because it was like there's so many things to get distracted by. Dating apps being a huge one for men. Dating apps, you talk about things that are addictive, like the social dilemma. They didn't even talk about dating apps. Dating apps are 100% rewarding you based on usage. I can't tell you how many times like nothing will be going on. I just message a couple people, and all of a sudden now new matches come in. That wasn't ironically happening. That's because it's pre-programmed to happen to make you
Mm-hmm.
addicted to that shit. That's why Facebook got into it. Facebook got into the dating game because they didn't want you to leave the Facebook app to jump over to Tinder. They wanted all your attention on Facebook.
Yep.
And the dating apps, man, like that was something that like now it's crazy knowing where I'm at now with it and thinking like, oh, do I use dating apps too much? Not at all compared to where I used to be. I remember one time, anyone that's from Florida will understand this. It's a long ass drive. It's almost, I think, 6 or 7 hours to the Panhandle from where in Tampa, might even be longer than that. And I remember driving, and I was on Tinder the whole fucking time. Like literally, I could have listened to a whole audiobook. I could have had a meaningful conversation. I could have crashed my car. And I remember like setting up dates as I'm like driving and this and that. And I'm like, oh, like let's hang out and get an Airbnb. And like I got a fucking hot tub. And I'm like, should I book this place? Because this chick might come over for the hot tub. And just like I remember like that was like crazy addiction to like dating apps and social media. It it destroys so many things. It's a fucking great tool, but it's a terrible master, as they say. And I'm trying to get back to that point where it's like I don't, look at my phone per se in terms of checking my notifications anymore. Thank God. I use an app. It's called Sleep Cycle, and it actually wakes you up uh, in between your your light. It wakes you up when you're in your lightest sleep. So which would be the perfect time to wake you up. So even though you got 6 hours, it will know, hey, let's wake you up when you're in your deep, like, lightest sleep. Dude, this thing will like record my snoring. It knows when I'm snoring. It's crazy. It does like all kinds of shit. It's free. And that will wake me up. And that's how I start my day. And then I'll check my Aura ring to see where I'm at with stuff and kind of track it. And, but yeah, it's a constant struggle for me. I'll be good for like a week. And then all of a sudden, like I'll like resort back to others. It's fucking addictive. You know what I mean? And,
Well, you said to check back in with you in 2 months. So let's just go ahead right now and say that we are going to do another podcast on April 25th to check in with James and see where he's at. Let's do it 2 months from now. Let's see where you're at with your fitness and your focus at that time. It'll be a great follow-up. Bro, thank you so much for being on the show. Where would you want people to find you?
yeah, so hit me up on Facebook, James King Baskin, or my website, outsourcekings.com. Kings with an S on the end of it. And, more than happy to talk to anyone.
Awesome. All right, bro. Thank you for doing the show. And yeah, thanks for being here, man.
Appreciate it, man.